Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fangirlz Assemble. Okay, so I think I've figured out this whole connection issue. We will see. Apologize for no mic and headphones like I would typically have. We're still figuring out the kinks of like my computer connection and everything else. But happy Halloween, everybody. How are you all doing? How's it going? Do you have any plans tonight? Hello. So I figured I'd just throw together like a little show today, pre-Halloween. Well, pre-Halloween's on Halloween. Talk about a combination of my favorite things, video games and comic books, in either form, whether it's video games based off of comic books or comic books based off of video games, or, kind of a multiple thing. Before I do that, I do have to shout out our lovely sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Sometimes more if there's a red tag or damage sale or a special deal. And if you live in the United States and you spend $50, you get free shipping. And right now, the Omnibus do have a code off. So I do recommend hopping over and keeping an eye out for the main videos on the channel, the Omnibus, to get that code in while it's there for Halloween. Without further ado, it's chatting time, everybody. Now, normally I have multiple screens, so we're going to see how this goes. Hi, James. How are you? I made a cute little PowerPoint to talk about. Whoa. Oh, this background is too much. Why do they always do this? It's so bright. Let me just fix that a little bit. Okay, so while I'm sharing this, I won't be able to see everything. So I'll be kind of doing a mix of chatting at the same time. So hopefully that is all right with you guys. Let me make this just a little bit bigger for me. Whoop, too big. I miss multiple screens, you guys. You know what that was like back in the day? Okay, sweet. Ha! I've done it. So, everybody can hear me okay? Going over there. There we go. Cool. All right. So I want to go through, kind of like to run through of like, because I know that this is like a Venn diagram for sure. There's a lot of us comic book people who like video games and vice versa. So, and there's a lot of examples of this because sometimes you get a video game based off of a comic book and then a comic book based off the video game based off a comic book. In the case of The Walking Dead. Which I love. I love seeing how one affects the other and then how it continues. And I want to talk about some of my favorites. And now, obviously, I haven't played every comic book video game. I'm talking more about newer ones, not so much retro ones, even though we can all agree X-Men Arcade game is fantastic. But I want to kind of talk through some of my favorites and recommendations. And then, if you have any ones that you like. I think one of the top ones over the past, I don't know, like past few years has definitely been Marvel SpiderMan on the PlayStation, on Sony, PS4, PS5. I think they did such a great job adapting these characters for sure. Peter and Miles especially, and all the side characters. Not only is the gameplay great, because it is not that easy to simulate the web slinging throughout town, right? The way that the physics of how a Spider-Man would move is really difficult. And I was incredibly impressed when they brought around, because first they start with Spider-Man, just Peter Parker. And he's already established at this point, he has been Spider-Man for a while. We get to see him try to balance his job and his no money with Mary Jane, and also helping Aunt May at like the food kitchen. And they did such a great job with this character because he's very just relatable, as Peter Parker should be. And then when they brought in Miles, I was really interested to see how they were going to do this, where they made every character, both characters, feel really distinct from one another, and they did a fantastic job. And if you are a fan of Spider-Man, to me, this is just another addition that you should definitely be checking out. They do. I really enjoy how all of the side characters and enemies are designed, how the combat works. It really feels very fluid. And the story is really interesting as well. So sometimes you get comic book games where not all are true. There's been a lot of Spider-Man games. I remember the one, it's like PlayStation or PS2 is kind of heralded as like the Spider-Man game before this one came out. And when this one happened, it really shows what comic book games can be if you really spend the time with it. Unlike, maybe what Suicide Squad did, unfortunately. If you don't put the microtransactions in it, you can really have a good time. Bad. Okay, sorry guys. I hope you're all hearing me okay. I apologize if I go out. I'm gonna do my best. I hope that's not the case. I hope you can hear me. Next, Midnight Suns. I've been talking about this game forever. Absolutely love Midnight Suns. This one is a really odd amalgamation of groups. You have some of your big heavy hitters in Marvel. You've got some X-Men. You've got some of your almost like Justice League Dark version. It's kind of like Justice League Dark, but for Marvel. But you still have your Captain America, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Iron Man. And then you've got your rest of the crew. You've got Blade. You've got Scarlet Witch and Wolverine and Magic and Robbie Reyes. Nico Minoru, Peter Parker. And it's great because it's this card-based battle system, but basically you're hanging out with the Midnight Suns. You have your own character that you are. You design how they look. You're someone who's been reborn into this world, but you had died previously, and you are fighting against supernatural forces. So we're thinking more like vampires, dealing with Mephisto. Seeing there's Morbius shows up as a pal. Dealing with Hydra, but more of the underbelly. And even though the story's fun and the gameplay's fun, the best part is just the time you spend with the characters doing really silly things. So I put this picture of Blade up here because Blade is one of the people who starts the book club. So there's little clubs that meet in the Midnight Suns. You've got your repair club, you've got the spooky club, and you've got the book club, which Blade starts basically just to hit on Captain Marvel. But Captain America thinks he's been invited, and then eventually Wolverine joins as well. And it's those little moments that are so great, getting to really just chill. Because I always say that I want more just chill time with my superheroes, right? I want to see them go to the grocery store, and this gave me that. It was basically just hangout time with my favorite Marvel characters, and it really made me want to read more of these Marvel characters as well that I didn't have a lot of time with. I had never even watched Blade or read Blade until I played this game, and I was like, I'm in. I love this man. Now, granted, he's not really as much like that in the movies, but if any comics are like this or Blade's like that, I'm in. Okay. Now, this one, I wish more people had bought it. The Guardians of the Galaxy game. I'm not talking about Telltale, which I think I might have. Yeah, I did, Rowan. So there's 2 Guardians of the Galaxy games. One of them is by Telltale, which I'll talk about some Telltale games. And then there's this other one that I believe was a Sony exclusive, but I'm not quite sure. But this one was incredible. I don't know if it just didn't get as much publicity when it came out because it has so much potential for multiple games. Oh my gosh, what a fantastic Guardians game. It's insane. It's so good. It's so comic accurate. In the middle of battle, you gather everybody to give them a pep talk, and you're prompted to do so, and you play a mixtape so everybody can get into the fight and get into it. Everyone's quirky personality traits really shine. You get to see a lot of it's more based on the comic Guardians than it is movie Guardians, but it's a nice mix. And you get all your classic people. Adam Warlock shows up, and he is awkward. Gamora doesn't know how to talk to people. Groot is being Groot. Mantis is there, and she's perfect. And the storyline's really compelling because you get you're interacting with some people from Star-Lord's past. And everyone is bringing something really special to the group, not just in their moves, but their conversation, how you spend time with one another. Man, and again, this is what I wished the Avengers game had been, because I really like the story, but then microtransactions and like it didn't really have a lot of follow through, which was a huge bummer. And I imagine Suicide Squad was much of the same, where the character pieces were there, but they, got in the way of themselves. Yes. Guardians of the Galaxy is great. Gamora's very good in that. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask about playing as LeVar Burton. How can LeVar Burton be his Blade, though? Let's be real. They are working on a Blade game, and the game will come out before the movie. But now, like, the movie's not coming out, right? Like, isn't Blade, like, indefinitely on hold or something? If I can get more games like this would be great. Games that truly do honor where they've come from and aren't just, like, weird cash grabs that don't work. Because these companies think that they want the microtransactions, but they don't make games that are fun enough that you'd want to pay for microtransactions, which is their mistake. You actually have to make the game good for the microtransaction bit to work. Just use some of your extra Marvel snap money that's not going to the artist at all and put it in this at least. It would be great. Injustice 2. I am not a fighting game person. I love Injustice 2. Oh my God, I love Injustice 2. It's so good. Injustice 1, it's fine. But Injustice 2, I could sit and watch videos of all the like quips between the superheroes. Like it's great. I think the art's great. The story is fantastic. As is the case anyways, because it's like they adapt it well in the comic book as well. The design's great. And just seeing your favorite superheroes kind of go after one another is such a good time. And Wonder Woman's gorgeous. 1 second, my husband is texting me on a show. I say to him, okay. And I desperately want the figure of that Wonder Woman. This is one like they constantly have different challenges you stay to for playing the game, but what's really the best part of this is seeing the characters and then the storyline. Now, of course, from each other part, Mortal Kombat style is also really great. Okay, the Telltale Games. Now, this is one that they come with a lot of different comic book games. So they have Wolf Among Us, Guardians of the Galaxy. They've got Batman, and then The Walking Dead. Now, I think the real highlights for these are Wolf Among Us, which is from Fable, my first comic book I ever read, and then The Walking Dead. Now, I watched The Walking Dead show. I've read the comic, but for me, my favorite version of Walking Dead is the Telltale Games series, bar none. I think it honors the comic a lot more than the TV show does. The fact that you get to make these decisions that affect the storyline, affect how people care about you and how they react. And, that's what the game that sparked the whole so-and-so will remember this meme. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to give it away. And this is one that even spawned its own comic later on by Tilly Walden, Clementine, which continues on the Walking Dead Telltale game storyline. And if you're not big into combat, these are the games for you because it's not about the combat. There's not really combat. There's some like button prompts. It's about your storylines. Warner Brothers is making a Wonder Woman game right now, and according to it's an open world game. Also, the game takes place entirely in Themyscira. I'm so hopeful for it. I'm trying to keep my expectations low after what happened with Suicide Squad because I was really excited, but I want it so bad that I'm just hoping for the best with this. Clementine's absolutely Clementine's top 5. No question. Just, after the first game, when you start playing as Clementine in the Walking Dead world, meeting some characters that you see in the comic books, nothing's scarier. Like, even though, again, there's not combat, it's just terrifying. Figure out what you can do. And, like Walking Dead is, like, it's not always the zombies that are the scariest. It's the people that you run into. Are they cannibals? Is this like a weird prison? What are you walking into? Can you actually rely on these people or not? That you're, you're choosing to spend time with. And the choice is up to you. And so you get to it's a choose your own adventure game, but with Walking Dead. Of course, quick shout out to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. This is one that finally was re-released after they took it off the PlayStation Store away from me. And it's just a side scroller beat 'em up. All the music is by Anna Monoguchi. It's the sprites look great, they feel great, they move great. There's so many dumb little jokes in there and call outs. And it's one that I played over and over and over again. You can play it co-op, and you basically play through, the main big battle scenes of the book. But you can play as any character, and you can continue to unlock them and then like level them up and stuff. I remember like going to see Anna Monoguchi in concert because of this game. And then again, the comic books. This is a shorter show, you guys, because Dragon Age came out. Speaking of Dragon Age coming out today, some of my favorite. There's less comics that I feel like they're based off video games that I've read, anyways. There's a lot that have come out that I can't verify if they are good or not, but I'll talk about some of the ones that I know are good and then some ones that I've heard about. From BioWare, and then distributed by Dark Horse, definitely the Dragon Age and Mass Effect comics. The Dragon Age ones came out in Library Edition, and the Mass Effect we've also gotten, I think, in Library Edition, but also the complete comics. Dragon Age, for sure, they did a fantastic job. The cover art's amazing, by the way. The stories are great. They're set anywhere between 2 and 3, between 3 and 4, which is coming out today. They're canon from what I know. And a lot of new and old faces in there. And it's just, if you're really into the Dragon Age games and the lore, to me, it's a must-have. Just to spend more time with those characters, especially characters like Fenris from Dragon Age 2, which, wasn't the best game, but the story was good and the characters were good. And in the Mass Effect comics, I recently did a review of, the Mass Effect comics are great. They give you awesome backstories. Absolutely. Just spending time to see how people have developed and where their interest in Shepard was, and the really silly Hanar comics, and they did a great job with it. I'm very impressed. I'm impressed that so much came out and continues to come out, at least for Dragon Age. I imagine we'll see more of Mass Effect as the new game comes out. Other honorable mentions: Injustice, of course. Injustice is one of the best DC comics, and it's because of a video game. Injustice 1 and Injustice 2. To me, I don't like seeing my superheroes fight, typically. Injustice is the exception. I like the inciting moments that lead to everyone kind of losing it and fighting one another. The art's fantastic. And, Injustice, the comic book, gives you time with so many side characters that you don't always get time with in the DC universe. And to see Clark break in a way kind of a la Irredeemable is fascinating. I think there's a real reason for him to be that way. Unlike some other books, they're like, what if Superman bad? And this one, to see a Clark that's truly broken because he was tricked and killed Lois Lane, fascinating. And then also Silent Hill. I'm a huge Silent Hill fan. When Silent 2 came out, that's all I did. I beat it right away. It's one of my favorite games growing up. And I think the Silent Hill comics are really neat and different. I'm not sure how much of them are canon or not, but the art is very unique. I think they do a really good job of playing in that realm and showcasing how creepy and off-putting Silent Hill can be, and exploring some new areas of Silent Hill you don't typically get to see. And then something I haven't read, but I always hear about. I've heard really good things. Sonic the Hedgehog. I hear about this a lot. A lot of people talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I guess I need to finally check them out. And then also Life is Strange. Life is Strange comics are fun. They give you possible futures for some of the characters. Okay. I'd like to check it out. Chris, let me know if you're going to play the new game. I haven't decided how I feel about it yet, but I would like to read the comics. And, So for future ones coming out, I desperately want all of us to read the new Mr. Mega Man manga, where Mega Man is an adult and he's just trying to like live his life. And I don't really know what this is going to be about, but I need to know. I need to know about this. Okay, so Gio loves Sonic Ongoing. Hey, Javier. Hi. Hello, Laruski. Happy Halloween to you too. I've been dressing up at work every day this week. Only in costumes that have more coverage. But I was BB-8 at work today. And I was a Grey Warden from Dragon Age yesterday. I will be playing it, but not for a couple of months. Yeah, I've got other stuff coming out. So, and the second I'm off here, I'm just going to be playing Dragon Age. So, yeah. So today's a quick show, mostly because my internet's still weird. If anyone has recommendations they want to send to me, and the comments are on Twitter on the Nearmint Discord about how to deal with bandwidth issues for some reason out of nowhere. That'd be great because I'm on my hotspot on my phone. Yay! Trying to get that fixed so I can just chill and not be stressed about the connection. But I thought it'd be fun to just do a quick little like view on video game comics and comic book video games. Speaking of which, it is now time for me to make my character a Dragon Age. Maybe I'll post them on Twitter about it. I need to move over to Blue Sky, post there. But my plan is to be back on Sunday as long as my internet is not being weird. And I'm going to reach out to Kristan too and see when we can see her lovely face again. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Check out our sponsor, InStockTrades.com. Pick up some Dragon Age or pick up some video game stuff. Can you change your internet? Maybe Starlink. I don't know. Maybe I'll post in the Discord later and be like, help. Help me. I've got fiber. Why doesn't it work? I have to drill a hole in my ceiling to plug in my Ethernet port. Anyways. I hope you have a good day. Have a good Halloween. Comment later and let me know what you're reading this Halloween. And if you have any ideas of other things you'd like me to just kind of chat and talk about, I figure next stream will be just a chill hangout one, little Q&A. And have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.